The story begins in 1950 inside a car factory where several vehicles were being prepared. Among them was a special red car. While a mechanic was working on it, checking the engine, the hood suddenly slammed shut on its own, severely injuring his hand. He was rushed to a doctor. Later, another mechanic came to inspect the car. While he was inside, ash from his cigar fell onto the seat. Hours passed, the factory's work ended, and everyone headed home. As the supervisor was leaving, he noticed the lights of the red car were still on. When he opened it, the dead body of the mechanic with the cigar tumbled out. 28 years later, we meet a student named Dennis, who picks up his friend, a studious and mild-mannered boy named Arnie, in his car. Despite their differences, the two quickly became good friends. It was their first day of school. Upon arriving, they were getting books from their locker when they noticed a new girl named Leigh, whose beauty had captivated all the boys at school. Later, as Dennis and Arnie were driving home, Arnie suddenly spotted a car outside a house and urgently told Dennis to stop. Approaching it, they saw it was a red classic car, the very same one from the factory, now in a complete state of disrepair. But Arnie didn't care. He fell in love with it instantly. The owner, George, appeared and explained the car was named Christine, and it had belonged to his brother who had died a few weeks prior. George was desperate to get rid of it and agreed to sell it for just $50. Dennis advised Arnie not to waste his money on such a wreck, but Arnie bought it without a second thought. When Arnie returned home and told his parents, his mother was furious. But Arnie didn't listen as he had bought it with his own savings. His mother declared the car would not stay at their house, so Arnie and Dennis took it to a garage. There they met the garage owner, Will, a grumpy old man who nevertheless allowed Arnie to keep the car there. On the way, Dennis asked why he bought such a junker, and Arnie replied that he didn't choose the car. It chose him. The next day at school, Dennis waited for Arnie at lunch. When he didn't show up, Dennis went looking and found a bully named Buddy and his gang harassing Arnie. Dennis tried to intervene, but Buddy threw their lunch on the ground and pushed Arnie into it, breaking his glasses. As Buddy laughed, Dennis attacked him, but Buddy's gang surrounded Dennis. A teacher broke up the fight, and Arnie reported that Buddy had threatened him with a knife. The teacher found the knife in Buddy's pocket, leading to Buddy and his gang being expelled. Weeks passed, and Arnie worked day and night to restore the car. The garage owner, Will, gave Arnie a job helping at the garage in exchange for spare parts. Arnie threw himself into the work, not realizing he was developing an obsessive attachment to Christine. One evening, Dennis visited Arnie and found him completely changed. He was now wearing stylish clothes, walking with a swagger, and was too busy to talk, heading straight back to work at the garage. His mother tried to stop him, but he ignored her. She confided in Dennis, saying she was worried about Arnie in the car, especially after learning that the previous owner had died of asphyxiation inside it. Dennis went to see George, who confirmed the story, revealing that his brother's wife and daughter had also died in the car, and that after his brother's death, the car had somehow ended up back in the garage by itself. Dennis went to see the car. When he tried the handle, the radio turned on by itself, frightening him away. The next morning, Dennis was at the school stadium for a football match. He was thinking about a play when he saw Arnie arrive in Christine, which was now in pristine condition, astonishing Buddy and his friends. Leigh got out of the car and kissed Arnie in front of everyone, which annoyed Dennis and distracted him, causing him to be tackled hard and knocked unconscious with a serious injury. Days later, Dennis woke up in the hospital with a cast on his leg and neck. Arnie visited, and Dennis realized his friend was changing rapidly. The once timid boy who obeyed his parents was gone. Arnie soon left. That evening, Arnie took Leigh to a movie theater. Afterwards, in the car, they began kissing, but when things escalated, Leigh suddenly got out. Arnie followed, and Leigh accused him of loving the car more than her. Arnie found this strange, but managed to persuade her to get back in. Suddenly, the windshield wipers malfunctioned. While Arnie was outside checking, the radio turned on by itself. A bright light flashed from the dashboard, and Leigh began choking, unable to breathe. Arnie desperately tried to open the locked doors from the outside. Just as Leigh was about to suffocate, she managed to open the door from the inside, and a bystander pulled her out. Arnie, in a rage, attacked the man, who was actually trying to perform the Heimlich maneuver. The situation calmed down, and Arnie drove Leigh home. She rushed inside, refusing to speak to him. Arnie tried to apologize, but Leigh was convinced the car had tried to kill her out of jealousy. Arnie thought she was being irrational and said they'd talk tomorrow. Back in the car, it wouldn't start until Arnie professed his unwavering love for Christine, after which it started immediately. Arnie left Christine at the garage and went home. Later, Buddy and his gang, including a thug named Moochie, broke into the garage and completely vandalized the car. The next day, Arnie managed to appease Leigh and they went to the garage so he could get his wallet. Upon seeing the destroyed Christine, Arnie was devastated. When Leigh asked who did it, Arnie screamed at her inexplicably and told her to leave. He told his parents, who tried to calm him by offering to buy him a new car, but this only enraged him further. He blamed them for Christine's condition, arguing that if they had let him keep it at home, this wouldn't have happened. He hurled insults, and when his father tried to restrain him, Arnie fought back and stormed out. He went straight to Christine and resolved to fix every part. To his astonishment, the car seemed to be magically repairing itself. Ecstatic, Arnie asked the car what it could do, and it fully restored itself in moments. That night, Moochie was hijacking a truck when he heard an engine and saw Christine, now looking new. He assumed Arnie was inside and realized Arnie knew he had helped destroy the car. He started apologizing, but the car's headlights flared and it sped towards him. Moochie fled, hiding in an alley and then an old warehouse, but Christine relentlessly pursued him. Trapped, Moochie pulled a knife, but Christine crushed him mercilessly. The next morning, Arnie visited Dennis and told him about Moochie's death. Dennis was shocked and couldn't understand how the car had repaired itself, but Arnie gave no answer. Detective Junkins then arrived, investigating the vandalism and Moochie's murder. Arnie claimed to know nothing, but he seemed pleased by the news, arousing the detective's suspicion. Junkins revealed that Leigh had testified the car fixed itself. Arnie left silently and called Leigh, who refused to meet, further angering him. Meanwhile, Leigh and her friend Dawn were driving when another car began chasing them. Buddy stopped to confront the driver but couldn't see through the headlights. He reversed, and the other car matched him, revealing itself to be Christine. In a rage, Buddy sped off to a gas station where his friend Richie worked. Grabbing an iron bar, he prepared to teach the driver a lesson. But Christine rammed into Buddy's car at high speed, causing significant damage. Assuming Arnie was inside, Buddy yelled for him to get out. Christine rammed the car again, shoving it into the workshop and crushing Dawn inside. Petrol began to leak. A fire started, and a massive explosion engulfed the garage, killing Richie. Buddy fled, but a burning Christine gave chase and crushed him to death. Sometime later, Will heard a car enter the garage and saw Christine, shrouded in smoke. He was confused as Arnie was away fixing another car. Will got his gun and went to see who was inside. The door was too hot, so he used a cloth to open it and found the car empty. Puzzled, he got in, a mistake he would pay for dearly. Christine locked the doors, slammed Will's seat into the dashboard, and killed him brutally. The next morning, Arnie arrived at the garage to find police cars. Detective Junkins informed him that Will's body had been found in Christine. Arnie claimed ignorance, but in his heart, he knew Christine was responsible, as it was once again gleaming and perfect. Meanwhile, Dennis was released from the hospital. Leigh called, saying she needed to see him. She expressed her belief that Christine had possessed Arnie, and he was now capable of anything in his obsession. Dennis said he was sure Arnie wouldn't do anything wrong himself, but if Christine had control over him, it had to be destroyed. Leigh returned home, but Arnie soon arrived in Christine. He told Dennis to come for a drive, and Dennis complied. Arnie was behaving strangely again, suddenly driving at high speed and then letting go of the steering wheel. Dennis panicked, saying Christine was out of control, but Arnie replied in a bizarre tone that nothing could come between him and Christine. To prove his point, Arnie swerved into oncoming traffic, narrowly avoiding a head-on collision. Horrified by his friend's madness, Dennis decided to act. The next day, Dennis etched a note into Christine's bumper, summoning Arnie to the garage that evening. Dennis and Leigh waited, but Arnie didn't come. They used an excavator to break into the workshop, planning for Leigh to wait in the office, close the gate once Arnie entered, and then use a bulldozer to destroy Christine. Unbeknownst to them, Christine was already hiding inside the workshop amidst the junk. The car turned on its headlights and accelerated towards Leigh to crush her. Leigh saved herself by grabbing a hanging tire. Christine attacked again, but Dennis blocked it with the excavator's claw. Christine reversed to the other end of the workshop while Dennis maneuvered the excavator. The two vehicles faced off, and it was revealed that Arnie was now helping Christine. He was completely under its control. The car's headlights flared, and it instantly repaired itself. The excavator stalled, and while Dennis tried to restart it, Christine charged towards the office to finish off Leigh, smashing through everything. The tremendous impact threw Arnie through the windshield. Leigh ran to him, but he startled her, and a large shard of glass from his body proved fatal. In his final moments, Arnie tried to touch his beloved car, but succumbed to his injuries right in front of Christine. Leigh fled, but Christine, seeking revenge, reversed at high speed to crush her. At the last second, Leigh dodged, and the car crashed into a pillar, becoming stuck. Seizing the opportunity, Dennis finally restarted the excavator and drove it towards Christine, delivering a massive blow. The car tried to fight back, but Dennis used the excavator's claw to crush it from behind, weakening the malevolent vehicle. Leigh joined Dennis in the excavator's cab. As Christine began reactivating and repairing itself, Dennis started the bulldozer and completely crushed the car, finally destroying it for good. The next day, Dennis and Leigh met Detective Junkins at the junkyard. They saw that Christine had been reduced to a pile of scrap metal. As the three walked away, a small piece of the wreckage twitched on its own, confirming that the demonic car was still alive. What is your dream car? Be sure to tell us in the comments. See you in the next video.